I suffered 2 concussions within about a month of each other, and that's when everything changed. After I saw my doctor and he said, "I'm not clearing you to return to play, you need to give up hockey," that was such a huge part of my life that was taken away from me just in an instant. I started having severe light sensitivity and sound sensitivity to a point where I just spent days in a dark room. The dizziness was just blotches, black blotches coming in front of my eyes whenever I'd stand up and try to walk. And then I'd lose my balance and fall over. The headaches just kept throbbing at the back of my head, just like a heartbeat right at the back of my head. I was out of school for about 4 months. So I felt sort of a need to isolate myself during that because it just made me depressed and sad. It was extremely devastating to come to that realization that this is my new normal.
But almost everybody knows somebody's had a concussion or has had one themselves. For kids, it affects their school. It affects their relationships with their friends. It affects their ability to take part in the sports they love. With adults, it stops them from going to work or affects the kind of work they do. But the good news is that only a minority of people with concussion have problems that last more than 2 to 4 weeks. We still have a lot of work to do to learn what to do for the people, particularly that have problems that last more than those 2 to 4 weeks. How do we help them get better faster? There had already been a lot of really good concussion research happening here at the university. The ICRP was a step forward of trying to really bring together all the researchers that were doing work in the area of concussion to promote more collaboration, more ability to pool data across different projects, more ability to do larger studies. So a big focus for us is in prevention, trying to figure out ways to have concussion not happen in the first place. We now are in the top 5 worldwide in terms of scientific productivity, but even perhaps more importantly for the community is the research that we're doing has had a real impact. It's allowed us to have a more, in a sense, unified voice and be able to translate that into some real impact in terms of people that are at risk of concussion or that have concussions.
Some of what we've done is really reached out to the community, and we've developed a massive open online course on concussion, or a MOOC, in collaboration with the Université Laval. We had a total of 8,591 individuals participate in this course, and we were able to reach a broad audience and have some fantastic discussions around the area of concussion and deliver some evidence-informed information in the area of concussion to a broad number of stakeholders. Over the last 10 years or so, there's really been a change in the way that we manage concussions to take a more active approach and to start getting moving and doing physical activity after that initial 24 to 48 hours. And for people that don't recover and still have ongoing dizziness, neck pain, and headaches, there's good research to show actually that combining treating the neck and the balance systems can facilitate recovery. So we've seen positive results from a treatment standpoint, but now we're starting to use some of those principles and apply them in what we call a prehabilitation or a prevention type method, because ideally if we can prevent them from happening in the first place, then we don't need to worry about treating them.
So the work we're doing at the Sport Injury Prevention Research Center is really focused on moving upstream to prevent concussions in youth sport and recreation. So we do this across 3 targets for prevention, including training strategies, as well as equipment recommendations and rules and policy changes. The University of Calgary is leading a large research program that is funded by the National Football League Scientific Advisory Board. I believe this is the first time they've funded such a large program in Canada. And we're targeting not just kids who are playing football, but also kids who are playing across multiple high-risk concussion sports. So it's a really exciting opportunity to be able to work with our colleagues across Canada. I think the biggest impact that we have had in the prevention of concussions in this country has been in youth ice hockey. So related to policy change, disallowing body checking in games. We expect that impact to actually reduce the risk of concussion significantly, and that will probably translate to preventing over 10,000 concussions a year in youth ice hockey. Rugby is a very high-risk sport for concussion, particularly in girls, where sometimes this is the first time that they are introduced to a contact sport. So we're targeting neuromuscular training, prevention, warm-up programs, development of tackle drills and tackle training to hopefully have an impact in reducing the risk of concussions in these girls. We have many researchers who are really tackling concussion from different perspectives and different disciplines. And I think that this is a huge opportunity for graduate students, undergraduate students, as well as postdoctoral scholars to develop in a multidisciplinary environment, which is really exciting. And there's probably no other environment like that across Canada in the area of concussion.
So I first got interested in research of sport injury and concussion prevention through Dr. ACHRI and the studies that she had linking body checking to an increased risk of injury and concussion. Because that really resonated with me, that made me want to pursue a degree in kinesiology and then also further my learnings about concussion through research. And now I'm actually pursuing a master's degree in the area of sport injury prevention focused on concussion. And my project looks at specifically equipment-based interventions, so mouthguard use and helmet fit to protect against concussion. I want to make sure that no one goes through what I've had to go through.
I think in our society we need to ensure that all kids have the opportunity to continue to play sport and don't drop out because of concussion.
I lost hope that I would ever get better. I never thought I'd be able to do anything with my life. And I just thought that it ruined my life, essentially. But now, I've seen that it's opened so many doors for me to learn and actually make a difference for others.
I feel very fortunate to be a part of the Integrated Concussion Research Program. We have a really unique setting here in Calgary where we have multiple researchers and clinicians with different areas of expertise sitting at the same table, working together to best answer meaningful research questions.
There's no better place to do concussion research in Canada and probably arguably in the world.
Now, when we go out in the world and we talk to our colleagues, they know about the ICRP in Calgary. They know Calgary punches way above its weight in terms of the concussion research sphere, but that's also having really an impact on care that people get for concussion, the work to try to prevent concussion, and so forth. We recently applied for a grant to establish a nationwide concussion research network. And interestingly, we're the only applicants for the grant because we have everybody buying in to the need for a national network, but that Calgary should lead it. It's really a testament to all the great people we have. The whole beauty of research is that often we think we know the answer and research shows we're wrong. Research gives us answers to questions that allow us then to make a difference in the community. The best care is being delivered to kids in Calgary because of the research we do here.